Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
I want to talk about this, right? So here's a sniper account. I've been running this thing and it got in a higher drawdown this week than ever. It was running 6 max pairs, right? So I took a hit of about 8% and look at that. I made it all back when it swung. So this is what I designed GearBox for, to be able to take a loss and quickly make it back. I'll give you another example. This is one of my more aggressive accounts. It's running a 0.01 per 500. Obviously, that's very aggressive, right? Basically a 0.02 per 1,000. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can see, okay, it took some losses and it made it back. And guess what? It took those losses again, and it's going to make it back again, but as a more aggressive strategy. Sometimes being more aggressive actually isn't as good as being conservative. You can see also one of my swing accounts took a bit of a hit here, right? We went from 39 to 27. That's okay. Sometimes you're going to take hits. Another swing account took a huge one here. But this was a swing account, small account. It was a $1,500 account. It was running 6 max pairs. And you guys know this week was one of those weeks. But why this is important to talk about is this is realistic expectations. Can your strategy withstand large moves in the market without blowing, able to take a loss and still make it back? That is really the question, because this is trading. And I want to be very clear on this. You're not always going to have a profitable month or a profitable week. The fact that you can consistently profit for long periods of times is what matters. And the fact that you can withstand large movements like this and stay in the game is very important as well. If it can't withstand large moves, that's not a good thing. And the biggest thing I can tell you about GearBox is I've really designed it to be able to weather storms. Yes, you could potentially have a higher drawdown one day if a crazy move happens. And let's talk about it, right? Let's look at some charts. I want to take a look and let's give you an example of Euro AUD. Do you see this dip? Look at this. Euro AUD went, this is a large amount of pips we're talking right here. We're talking, close to 700 pips straight down, right? And look at this bounce back up. So this was like last night, literally. And look at the bounce over the past 2 days. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I want to talk about it. This stuff happens on many pairs. And typically we see this happen once or twice a year. Typically I'd say twice a year, where some of these pairs just trend for no reason. There's no news, there's nothing to predict it. And this is the markets, right? There's things that are just going to happen because it's the markets. And you need to be able to withstand crazy moves like this. So that's one of the big things, is just looking at some of the pairs and seeing that, Euro JPY as well. I saw some people been riding this for a while. Maybe some of these other little chops weren't enough to get them out, and they've just been riding it from here to here. Same concept with New Zealand Swiss franc, right? We saw the Swiss franc pairs this week go on a run right up. It's important to show people, like, look, and not only that, all right, let's look at history, right? When is it the last time you saw things at this level? So if you're new to trading, this may be going a little over your head, but the point is for some of you to start to better understand the market as well. I don't want to take a whole session to look at charts, but I do just want to, describe what happened a little bit this week and what many people experienced. And you see many people were getting in the trade here. Maybe they entered their first trade here as something went against them, and then it just kept going. And people are like, oh, what's going on? And then boom, now you're in profit, right? So sometimes you got to be able to withstand and weather the storm. Now, I will tell you, one of the cool things we are working on with GearBox is I'm working to add a feature where I saw many people this week, they ended up all in Swiss franc pairs, right? And when you ended up all in Swiss franc pairs, you might have ran in a problem where, okay, all the charts look the same, right? Every chart looks somewhat the same. So what is one of the things I'm working on for GearBox is I'm working on going into correlated pairs here, and I'm looking to have it programmed. And this is a more advanced feature. We're working on it but I'm looking to have it to where any pair that's over 75% correlated together, it will not allow, like, let's just say, for example, AJ and NZD-JPY. If you look at the chart on those, they look pretty much identical. And because of that, let's say you were to get into an NZD-JPY sell, and AUD-JPY went to trigger a sell, it's not going to allow it to take a sell. It would only allow it to take a buy if it triggered. This is a feature I'm working on because I want to be able to have it where you're almost hedging in a different manner, right? So if you're in a sell an NZD-JPY and AUD-JPY went to enter that sell, GearBox blocks it and would only let it enter a buy if it triggered. And by doing this, it's going to keep you from ending up in multiple pairs that are going to act exactly the same, right? The charts look the same. Why put yourself in multiple situations of drawdown when you could potentially hedge that? So this is an amazing feature that we're working to add. We're working on it currently right now, because we believe that it would be such a massive improvement to what we have here with GearBox to really decrease drawdown and increase profitability, as well as potentially hedge your risk. So we are working on that correlation and being able to make adjustments there, especially after this week, because I saw it firsthand with many accounts that maybe even took some losses. You were in many similar pairs where they were highly correlated, and let's just make it to where you can't be going the same direction on highly correlated pairs that are 75% or more correlated. So if you guys like that idea and that feature, put a 777 in the chat and just let me know, right? That's something we're working hard on. We believe that it'll be a great feature to increase, the profitability, right? I see a lot of 777s. People like that feature. That tells me that I have to put a lot of hard work into that feature. But as you see, we're always advancing GearBox. We're always trying to make it a better product. And I'm looking at what happens in the market. And, the truth is, what we saw happen in the market this week happened back in June as well. It was a random Tuesday, and I saw 30 pairs trend 300 pips out of nowhere on like an hour candle. 30 pairs all went 300 pips for no reason. This is actually where I added many features to the GearBox strategy back when I was in early developments. I said, hey, this is when starting lot should enter on real trades, not ghost trades, because back then I didn't even have that feature. There were many features that were added. This is also when I added the max pairs trading at the same time feature, because back then I wasn't even running GearBox in all the pairs. I was running it on like 6 pairs, and guess what happened? All 6 pairs trended, and I entered on all of them, and they just kept going and going and going. And I was like, oh man, I can't, this is crazy, right? So that's when I came up with more and more ideas to continue to be able to scan pairs, but not enter on all of them, right? Because that would be extremely dangerous. And we just continue to add, many of the same pairs. I see Matt just says yes, in last March, the same. Matt Chaz, last March wasn't necessarily unexpected. That was more coronavirus and politics. But when I say unexpected, there's unexpected things. Coronavirus could have kind of expected last March with some of the moves that happened. But in June and this week, a lot of it was uncalled for. It was unexpected. And again, that is the market. So that's why I wanted to cover it and just talk a little bit about it and some of these pairs, right, that have been a little troublesome, right? We even see NZD-JPY. It's been a troublesome pair for many of us since November. It's just been running, and we just haven't gotten a big enough retracement. And, it ran up. I mean, wow. You can see NZD-JPY, and this is a troublesome pair for me as well. But you can see it almost ran up, 1,000 pips without a real solid retracement from here all the way to here. I mean, that was a crazy move from NZD-JPY. And you can see many of these pairs just kept trending and trending. And the great thing about GearBox is we're really designing it to be able to weather many of these storms and continuing to add more and more features to protect capital, to protect accounts, and make it the best strategy that exists on the market. That's really continuing to be the goal. And every week I'm just sitting here, I'm thinking of great ideas. I came up with another great idea today. Something else I want to implement, I'm going to tell you guys about, and I'm going to see if you love this idea too. Many people, especially on this call, have asked me, all right, and I'm going to just give you a visual. Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen and pull up my VPS. Give me a second here to find my VPS. And I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. So many people have talked about, hey, there's times where maybe you look at a pair and you see your ghost gear is, on a, let's say you're on like GBP pair and you see one of your pairs is on like a level 5 entry, but you don't enter till level 6, and someone's like, oh, I want to be able to change my gear entry without it resetting, so I could just enter the trade then and there. Right? A lot of people have talked about that. So I'm going to just show you guys one of my ideas. Let me go back to the Zoom here and share my screen. One of the ideas I had is I said, okay, let's say you're looking at the pair. Like, for example, we see right here, GBP NZD is on a sell 4, right? My entry isn't until 7 before Wednesday, and we're after Wednesday. I'm not even entering until level 8. But let's say I just wanted to get in this GBP NZD sell. The problem is I can't go modify my gear entry because it's going to reset my ghost gears. So what I'm thinking about doing is adding a button here that says enter trade now, where you could just enter the sequence now. Does anyone like that idea? You know, I know a lot of people are always constantly asking like, hey, how can I, if you like that idea, let me know. Another 777 in the chat. I see some people are loving that idea, and you know, so I've been getting, you know, so many things. I'm just, my brain's constantly going, how can I make this better? How can I give people what they want? And that was another one of my ideas. I just said, hey, you know, this would be way easier than having them have to go modify their actual entry, you know, and it potentially resetting ghost gears. Just put a button here, enter the trade now, right? Just get in the sequence now. And I figured that would be such a cool feature to just allow people to, you know, so that is a great thing. So we're just constantly looking to advance things and make it, you know, better and better. And there's lots of things to continue to advance. You know, this product, obviously, there's still minor things. We're not fully 100% where everything fully is, you know, as it should be, but it's crushing it, right? It's crushing it, and we're continuing to make it more and more and more stable, add new features, and continue to make it more advanced. I mean, when you see what GearBox becomes in the next 60 days, you know, I don't think that there's going to be a better product for somebody who wants to be hands-on and customize their experience on the market. You know, so I see lots of questions, right? And Tony, I see you ask, can you do the same with lot sizes and make modifications without resetting ghost trades? You know, we're going to continue to work on many of these features to be able to actually change the settings without resetting things. But you know, there are some features that are always going to have to reset ghost trades just to make sure that the things actually operate how they should be. So like I said, this is one of my solutions to quickly get people some other advancements to questions they've had. You know, we're just always trying to make a way. Nick Sorensen says, I love GearBox and GearBox loves me. Thanks for all your efforts, Nick. You're the man. How can I change my max pair to trade on a lot size on all open chart pair? I'm not sure I'm understanding your question, Matja. To trade in lot size on all open chart pair. Yeah, I'm not understanding the question. I'm going to check the Q&A. I see we have some questions going off in the Q&A, and thank you guys so much for tuning into this call. I see we have a lot of callers on the call. I'm trying to find the Q&A. It always loves to disappear on me and not come back. So let me try and, oh, I see it. It's hiding from me down here. Okay. All right. So let's see what's going on. When the market trends strongly like GBP USD and GBP JPY would it be wise to go to lower timeframes to trade out of it? For example, if using the daily, would switching to the 4 hour, 1 hour be good? Essentially, if you're trying to hedge, possibly, Ja. And what I mean by hedge is, you know, if maybe you're just seeing, hey, I'm holding this strong counter trend and I want to go with the trend, then yes, potentially switching the time frame to a lower time frame would activate more trades going with the trend. Nick said, thanks, Tyler. Do you think Reboot will go smoothly this weekend? Nick, I don't have any updates currently at the moment. I plan to roll out today. We're working on many things to roll out a big update next weekend. I'm trying to, at least for the time being, switch to bi-weekly updates until we get everything perfect. And then once we have everything extremely stable and perfect with this product, we're going to be moving to monthly updates. And then once we get there with many of the new features, we'll probably only be making updates every 90 days. But right now we're still in that phase where we are constantly making updates. You see, we haven't released GearBox 1.0 yet because we still don't think we're there yet. That's why you've never seen you see the 0.99, right? We're not at 1.0 yet. 1.0 is when I know this product is just 100%. There's not a flaw in it. There's nothing, right? And we're working hard at that every single day to make this the most perfect product that for every single one of you. Tyler, a badge indicating what strategy is currently running and operational intact would be great. Nick, that's going to be kind of hard because with the new manager, we are going to be adding lots of new features, right? You're going to be able to really customize all of your settings, you know, and really somebody should know what strategy they're running because you click the button, right? So, you know, I don't think that's really a necessary feature based on the fact, you know, you're the one who clicked the button. You should know what strategy you're using. Catherine, if you have it set to only take 2 max trades, then you jump into one of those sequences by pressing enter now button. If you're already in 2 pairs, could it take the trade and managers also manage 3? Catherine, no. If you have max pairs set to 2 and you went to hit enter trade now on a 3rd, it's not going to enter it. You would have to increase your max pairs on at least 1 pair. So that's the other thing. Remember, when you want to increase your max pairs, you do not have to increase them in every chart. Because it'll read the highest value when it comes to the max pairs. Now for equity protector, it'll read the lowest value, meaning if you change max pairs on, like let's say I want to change it to 4 here, I could change this to 4 and all the other charts are going to respond to 4. It's going to read the highest number I put in for max pairs trading at the same time off of 1 chart. Now equity protector, it's going to read the lowest number. So if you put 25% as an equity protector on 1 chart and the rest at 100, it's going to treat the whole account based on the lowest. So those are the 2 things you need to understand. Max pairs is going to read the highest number on 1 chart and apply it to all of them. And max equity risk is going to read the lowest number and apply it globally to the whole account. So these are global settings. Now, if you went to try and lower 1 chart to 2, but the rest say 3 for max pairs, it's still going to read 3 because that's the highest number here. You know, so again, it's all very different based on that. I'm going to continue to read. Harry Johnson, I received your message in a group chat earlier, and I asked that person to have you look at your VPS. You should get back with Ryan Bickle and your sponsor about that. We've already addressed this, so you can get back with Ryan Bickle. London Arrington, this is my first time listening to this webinar. Compared to the software I'm currently using, your software and customer service looks like heaven on earth. I'm buying it today. London Arrington, I'm glad to hear that. My goal is to provide the best customer service and the best support always for this product because like I said, we're constantly advancing. I put my heart and soul into this because I'm managing my own money with it. You know, you see, here's one of my many live accounts running, and it did, you know, almost 5% this week just running GBP pairs, which was really cool. And you can see it's kind of close to taking another entry on some of these GBP pairs. I might just turn auto trading off. I'm kind of done. I don't want to get any trades anyways. But you know, the point is to show people, hey, this can work, and people are getting great results. Tony Howard said, given the level of stop loss the system sets, if I close a trade early, does that reset the ghost trades? Tony, if you're going to close trades manually, typically the best method I can tell you is to just pause auto trading while you do it, close trades manually, and hit delete ghost trades if you're trying to just get out of a pair. Again, it should clear them all if you just manually do it, but it's a good habit when closing trades manually. Just pause auto trading, close the pair you want to close, and then hit delete ghost trades. It's a good habit to get into. This week, GearBox opened 4 CHF sells versus AUD. At one point, I had 30% drawdown. I was vigilant on the trades. I was able to see they were sold in reaction. GearBox did what it was supposed to do, and literally last night the reaction happened, and the 4 trades closed on my account being up 22%. Love GearBox. John, amazing to hear that 22% profit on the week. Wow. So for Matt just said, so for global settings, we could use 1 pair where we set trade after level 10 and we change max open pair and equity limits. I'm not sure what you're saying here, Matt Jazz. The only trades that are global settings that I'm talking about here are your max pairs and your equity risk. All the other settings specifically go end the weekly goal. Weekly goal, max equity risk, and max pairs are the only global settings. Any other settings are specific to the currency pair you're running it on, but those are the global settings, right? So your weekly goal, your max equity risk, and your max pairs. These are global settings that apply to all of GearBox. Every other setting here only applies to that specific chart and currency pair. With crazy weeks like we just had, should markets start trending and we go into higher drawdown? What are some settings we can change to protect ourselves in our account? Sheldon, great question. The first thing is going to be your balance protection setting. It is really designed to help save you in different situations, right? So for balance protection, its goal is to try to not take new trades after you've reached a certain percent of drawdown. Mark said, do you have separate settings for individual pairs? Yes, the manager sets different entry settings for all the different pairs. Mark, if you're new here, here's the settings per pairs for entries. As you can see, what level or gear it's going to enter based on your strategy you're choosing, whether swing, sniper, or super. These are the entries it's looking to enter on based on the pairs earliest. And then after Wednesday, it always raises it by one. D-Wald, if you're using double TP or real trades TP, I did mention this at the beginning of the call. We have noticed on some accounts, double TP and real trades only has not been moving the TP with cost averages. It is why I also sent out that update this morning. If you're in floating profit for the week, it may be best to close out your trades and get out of the market. We are working on addressing this currently. If you want your TPs to update, simply switch to Ghost plus Real and they will automatically update. Mark, can I have two strategies at the same time? Only if you're customizing each pair. Maybe there's some pairs you want to run swing on and some you want to run sniper on. You would have to manually set those yourself. Pepper said, if I turn off auto trading, will it still manage the open positions? Absolutely not. If you turn off auto trading, it will not manage anything. It cannot do anything. I'm going to continue to read the Q&A here. Ernie, great question. He said, still having problems accepting trade notification from GearBox. I get the notifications from MetaTrader, don't find them in my Auvoria Prime account. Ernie, this means that chances are you are logged into somebody else's AP account on your software. The best thing you can do is go hit this log out button right here and re-sign into your Auvoria Prime account. Your notifications are currently going to somebody else's back office. Pepper, yes, the TP and stop loss will still be active with auto trading off. It will not remove them. Those will still be active. Matt Jess, could we use two strategies for one currency pair? I don't even know how you could do that. The strategy is based on gear entries. So no, you can only have one strategy per currency pair. There's no way to use two strategies on one currency pair. That doesn't make any sense. Balance protector, does it take lowest or highest if I want to change from 25 to 20%? It's going to take the lowest, Daniel, as well. CJ said, when will we be getting the new manager? It's in the works. I can't promise you anything, but I'm telling you right now, we're working very hard on the newest manager, as well as many of the other features, such as having it be able to pick up Einstein and Alexander trades for those users trying to switch from Einstein and Alexander to GearBox. We're working on many new enhancements. I've been using Einstein, but this week gave huge ED and took a loss. I'm planning to move to GearBox because I hear GearBox can control hedging swiftly. Yeah, Shaban, GearBox isn't that control hedging swiftly. It's more that GearBox just doesn't get in as much drawdown because it's waiting later to get into a trade. If I manually trade to minimize drawdown and then manually close out auto trading pairs and drawdown, will throw off your algorithm for that pair? No, if you have auto trading off for pairs in drawdown that you're manually trading on, it will not mess with the algorithm. The only thing it's going to read the equity protector, right? So if your equity protector, your weekly goal, it will take any of that stuff into account as well. I have seen this. Stephen Rath said, my FX book's not staying current stuck on February 19th. I did notice this week, actually, this Stephen, my FX book wrote out an update for the EA. I'm going to make it a priority that for all of the softwares, we put the most updated my FX book EA on the accounts this week, as they did release a new version. And anytime my FX book releases a new version of their EA, they make this old one stop updating. So we do need to update the my FX book EA on all accounts. So Stephen, that will be done this week. Ernie said, I don't think I understand your answer on how to fix my notifications approval issue. Ernie, literally go hit this log out button and reauthorize. That's all you got to do. It's that simple. Can there be a way to plot all the 24 pairs for initial VPS setup? No, there's no way to do that. That's a MetaTrader thing, and every broker runs differently and shows different pairs here in the market watch window. There's no way to set that up. You're gonna have to always do that manually. Let's keep reading the questions here. Any advice for $250 account in GearBox? What settings need to be done? If you go to the manager, it's really simple. You're going to want to run one max pair, and you're going to want to choose Super Sniper and probably Ghost Plus Rio Super Sniper. And you're going to want to make sure you're running one max pair. So I go in here, put one max pair, put your lot size at a 0.01. I'll tell you, I have a $250 account that ran this week, and I'm going to show you guys it. Actually, it did pretty good this week. It got into AUD CHF itself. Let me go actually show you that little guy, and you'll see this week it had a nice gain here, right? It just 65 to 84%. Look at that. So just this month alone, right? We did 11% right here. So really cool. To be able to see that growth. Again, it's not going to be profitable in the monthly, but it's cool to be able to see that, yes, GearBox can work on a $250 account with proper risk management. And I always like to show people this because it's just cool to see, right? Even though it may not become profitable or pay the monthly fee, it's enough belief for somebody to see it work for themselves firsthand and start to have the belief to put some more funds in, or to maybe share the software with other people. Martin said, what broker are you using? Martin, I'm not allowed to recommend, refer, or talk about this. The biggest thing I can tell you is I'm a big fan of A-book brokers. I'll tell you 98% of brokers out there are B-book brokers. And the reason I tell you that is, what is the difference between B-book and A-book? The difference is a B-book broker can make money when you lose. An A-book broker is only going to make money on the charges they charge on the actual lots traded. Which is why I choose to trade with A-book brokers, because they're in your best interest, right? They don't want to see you lose; they want to see you win, because it means you're going to keep trading, and that's one of the main reasons I stick with different A-book brokers. I'm reading. Also, can we option for close all at certain drawdown? You already have that option, my brother. It's your max equity risk. So if I go back to the VPS here. I don't know where my VPS went. I think it's right here. If we go back to the VPS, it's a setting right here. It's called max equity risk. If you want it to close everything at 50% drawdown, you're going to go right here and put your max equity risk at 50%. And at 50% drawdown, it'll close out all your trades. So that feature already exists. Nick, how do you know if a broker is A or B? That's a hard question because a lot of brokers aren't going to tell you the truth. The easiest thing is I would say get back with your sponsor. One of the big things I always check is I go to a Forex pair right here and I go to specifications. And the one thing you're always going to want to look for, this doesn't always mean A-book or B-book, but it does mean that there could be something being used against you. If you see the stops level is higher than 0, when you go to specifications, and I'll do this again, you can go over to any of the Forex pairs in your market watch, hit specifications, and if you see the stops level is higher than 0, typically that's going to tell you that they are using a virtual dealer, a pip freeze. There's something programmed against you on that feed to be used against you. Whereas if you see 0 here, typically that means it's a raw feed. It's just you and the feed. There's nothing being used against you. It's just you and you trading. All right. Ron said, can FX Book EA work on GearBox? Yes, it can. Matt just said, how can I change my lot size in all pairs? Simply go to the manager here and go right here, click your smiley face, put your lot size here, put your max pairs, choose your strategy, and it'll change it in all the charts. I see a lot of people asking questions about brokers. Again, I cannot recommend or refer any brokers. If you have questions about brokers, you can DM me. We can talk more privately. This is a public call. I'm not going to get into conversations about brokers here. I don't recommend or refer any brokers. I have a few brokers I like, I use, I know they're A-book, and that's why I stick to them. But, you know, again, if you have more questions, feel free to message me directly. But, you know, again, I can't recommend or refer any, please. But I can give you guys some more education on how to find out which ones are and go do your own due diligence and research. There's some questions you can ask them and some clarity you can ask many brokers. Some brokers you can even directly ask for proof that they are going to give you an A-book feed, and some of them might say it. Sometimes I ask brokers to actually give me a letter that they are giving me A-book feed. It's a more advanced thing, but you know, you can also go message your broker and ask for proof or a letter stating that they are giving you pure A-book feed. Can you change lot size midweek using the manager? You can change lot size midweek. Now, anytime you want to change a setting, it is best to use the remove all feature, but you don't have to use it. The reason I like to use the remove all feature is it makes it smoother when changing settings. You tend to run into less timer issues if you do remove all and then apply a change in strategy. But again, changing strategies midweek will reset your ghost trade. So it's best that you really try to, and again, I see a lot of people continue to ask questions about brokers. I don't like getting into the broker conversation on these calls. Somebody said, do you know if I see markets as A-book out of curiosity? I can tell you they do offer some A-book, but they are predominantly B-book. I will answer that one. Going back to, I'm going to look at all your videos, and then I'm switching. Where do I go to start viewing your video library from your very first video? London Arrington, you can go into your Auvoria Prime back office, go to your AP Academy, and you can go through the AP Academy. I have all the videos on setting up GearBox. I have an EA Academy where I explain each and every setting. As well, you can go to AP Live, where you can watch every weekly recording I've done since we launched this product. So much value there. For those of you who are really looking to get a lot of value, remember, we have every single video there. There's videos explaining each setting, how different settings correlate with other settings. There's so much education inside of your Auvoria Prime Academy, your EA Academy, and the AP Live section. If you are not checking out those videos, I highly recommend you go do it. Is there a video course in the AP about each strategy? Christopher, there is. Please go into the AP and the EA Academy. You're going to see tons of amazing questions and answers inside there, lots of video knowledge. I'm constantly updating a lot of this content so that people can continue to see better and better results. But with that being said, I don't see that many more questions. Harry, your question is much more advanced, my brother. I'm not answering that on a, you know, you're asking me to go research an account. I'm not going to go pull up your account on a call and research your account here. You know, you can put a support ticket in and it'll be researched. Thank you, brother. All right. Could you explain the difference between sniper strategy and swing? Awesome. So let's talk about it. So the swing strategy is simply just going to enter earlier than sniper, right? It's going to basically get in a trade sooner. So a swing is essentially always going to get more trades than sniper because you're just entering sooner on some of these pairs. Where, you know, let me just pull this up too. So again, we can talk about it based on the default settings. Here's the difference, right? So this would be the difference here. So let's take a look at it. You see, you know, again, ignore the lot size, because if you're entering your lot size in the real trades, and let's say you enter on a level 3, you're going to start your 0.01 here. But mainly, we're going to pay attention to the total pips in the range here. So if we look at, you know, for example, AUD-CHF, swing strategy is entering on a gear 2, meaning it's only waiting 50 pips to go against you before it enters a trade. Sniper is going to be waiting 87, right? And if it's after Wednesday, you're always going to be +1. So swing actually goes to gear 3 entry after Wednesday, and sniper actually goes to gear 4 entry after Wednesday, because after Wednesday, we notice the market tends to move more, so we increase our entries by +1, meaning super sniper would go to a gear 5 entry in this case, right? If that makes sense. But this would be the total amount of, you know, move that would have to happen for somebody to enter a trade. So if we go look at even, you know, a more volatile pair such as GBP-NZD, for example, you see the earliest we're even entering on swing is a gear 6. We're waiting for 300 pips on GBP-NZD to happen before we even enter a trade on swing. And if it's after Wednesday, we're waiting for 426. I mean, if we're on sniper, I mean, we're waiting 596, and these are really precise moves. Now, GBP-NZD, there's times that we've seen it move 1,000 pips, right, with little retracement. So that's why it's programmed so high, to skip all of these and only enter here and get you that winning swing trade. So that's the concept between the difference between the strategies is simply just your entry. It's waiting for a much more precise movement to happen in the market before you even get on the other side. So some people maybe ask, what kind of strategy is GearBox? Really, it is a reversal strategy, right? In the base strategy is a counter trend strategy, but what's so cool is you ghost trade the counter trend, which is typically where most EAs fail, right? I know many people saw this week with some other EAs they maybe were using or other strategies they were using. They maybe got into some riskier positions. And GearBox kind of was a savior for many people because of this, because it's skipping a lot of the counter trend, is looking to get in right before the reversal. That's really what it's programmed and designed to do, is ghost trade the counter trend and then take an entry right before a reversal. So I would say it's more of a reversal EA when using the swing sniper or super sniper strategy. Now, when using the intraday modes coming soon, that will still be a counter trend strategy. So the strategy can really change based on which strategy you're actually using to manage your account and enter your trades. And I hope that answers some of your questions in regards to that. Kristen said, some time ago, there was an issue with my FX book being able to be opened on the charts. Is this issue fixed now? Yes, that issue was fixed about 2 weeks ago. The issue was that when we released the updated GearBox Manager, which has master mode in it, basically it's what sped up GearBox. Many of you who have been using GearBox for months have noticed that GearBox is much faster now. That's due to the master mode of having the GearBox Manager actually be what's running the commands, trading all the ghost trades, as you see here in the Experts tab. Luke said, how's your one pair 500 swing accounts doing? Yeah, let's talk about them. Let's go to those $500 swing accounts. I'd love to talk about them. We're going to talk about it. AUD JPY, it was a blowout. And this happened like 2 weeks ago. AUD JPY was just toasted on swing. And the reason for that, again, is a $500 account, and we raised entries on it. So I'm going to start a new AUD JPY account with the newer entries. We can see AUD USD. It had a bad day and already started making it back, a lot of it actually. It went from down 52% to down 27 and growing back. And you see many of the others are still doing good. NZD JPY took a bit of a hit early on, as many of us knew it was a nightmare pair. It was down 19. It's already starting to make its way back up a little bit too. But most of the one pair accounts are still just crushing it, right? You see that the troublesome pairs are here, right? We talked about some of these troublesome pairs. Some of the other ones, they're just crushing it still, right? They're not having too bad of an experience. But as we talked about, anytime a pair gets into a higher drawdown, we're going to raise the entry. So we saw AUD CHF this week, right? This $500 account got 63% drawdown, right? What does that tell me? That tells me AUD CHF, we're raising the entry by at least 2. You can see anything over 25% is kind of where I'm going to increase it. Euro AUD, it looks like I'm going to increase the entry there, right? And it looks like Euro AUD might even hit some stops or taking a loss, and yes, it did. So yes, Euro AUD, we're going to increase the entry. Its drawdown stayed good, but it did hit some stop losses. And we covered that. Euro AUD, if we went back to that chart, look at that, just shoo, and then swung back up. But because of that, we could have simply increased our entries and maybe not been as much of this move. We could have stayed out of maybe entering a trade here and waited to down here and not taking those losses. So again, like I said, we always look at this data. I'm always going to be looking at this data to decide whether we're going to increase entries and make things more precise. And if we look at some more of the other ones, CAD JPY just kind of touched that 25% threshold. So we'll probably raise the entry once. Same concept. Euro JPY still below 25%, but kind of tapping it. It's on the side of, hey, do I increase it or is it still below 25%, right? Because that's kind of my rule. And same with NZD CHF, right? So if something goes 25, we're increasing it 1. If it goes over 50, we're increasing it 2. AUD JPY, we already had increased it. We increased it way before this happened, and I didn't change it on this account. But the point is just to show people, hey, where is the trouble on these little $500 accounts? And this is why I run these $500 accounts, to see if a $500 account can withstand large movements. Running this swing strategy, which is specifically the earliest entry strategy, as we've talked about, we know that sniper and super are good. So my goal is to just continue to advance all of these. So we're going to be starting new accounts on AUD JPY with the new swing settings, same with AUD USD and NZD JPY. Andy said, so if changes in entry, do you change them this weekend? If yes, do we need to rebook to get them? No, Andy, sorry guys, my dog's barking over here. So changes in entry, we will simply just update the actual GearBox manager. That won't happen this week, but probably next week. Louis, please stop barking. Hold on, let me let my dog out for a second. He's just in the room, he's gonna bark. Sorry about that. So when we release the new updated manager, it'll have increased entries for any of these pairs we're going to increase them on. We always do that to make it simpler for you to apply the new strategies when they exist. That way you don't have to go manually update all the pairs and change the entries. We just simply change it in here so that the strategies are updated, and you just have to simply hit a button and you'll get the updated entries. John P said, is there an ETA on the release of the intraday gearbox? That'll come with the most updated manager, John. So we're going to release an updated manager. It's going to have, and just to show you guys again, I know we talked about it last call. This is going to be a little bit about kind of what the new manager looks like. We're going to remove the balance stuff, and it's just going to be swing, sniper, super, and then all the settings are going to be behind on the smiley face, where you're going to be able to choose which take profit settings you want to use, lot sizes, if you want to delete ghost trades or not. You're going to have all of the gearbox settings behind the scenes in the manager, so that you can really customize your settings to your liking and apply them to all your charts. So this is in the works. It's on the top of the charts in the priority, as well as many other things. You know, we're constantly working. If you saw my Trello board with the ideas and the things that we're doing for Gearbox, you would be amazed. I see that this answered pretty much all of the questions so far here. So I'm going to get into Forex Factory and start to wrap this up for the week. And we're going to take a look at the upcoming week, what's going on, and take a look at the news and talk a little bit about how I maybe plan to manage my account for the next week. And again, I don't always give you the exact precise notes now on how I'm going to manage my account. We really just kind of look at the news, and then I'll decide later tonight, after I analyze a little deeper my management plan for the upcoming week. But let's just go take a look here and see what we got coming up. All right, so this week looks pretty low on red folders, not too much. There's definitely, we have OPEC, that's a big one. So let's take a look at them here and go through. So Monday, we have ISM manufacturing PMI. This can move the market. It's a USD one. AUD, we have RBA rate statement, GDP for AUD on Tuesday. We have Gov or Speaks for NZD on Wednesday. Thursday, we have OPEC JMMC meetings. This is one of those ones that can move the market. It typically has a bigger movement in the market. So, you know, it can affect all different currency pairs. As well, we have Fed Chair Powell Speaks as well on Thursday. And then we have NFP. NFP is this week coming up. NFP weeks can always be more volatile weeks. Because of this, I'm going to say that this week I'm going to take any accounts that I'm running 6 max pairs trading and take them down to 4. And my typical 3 max pairs, I'll leave at 3. And you know, if you're a more conservative user, maybe you want to lower your lot size below the typical rule of thumb that maybe was, you know, a 0.01 per 1K. And now you're going to maybe take it down to 0.01 per 2K or 0.01 per 3K. If you're an extra conservative user, again, you're in full control. Anonymous attendee said, I know you don't answer broker questions, but how do I ask a broker if they're A book or B book? Simply go ask your broker, say, am I getting A book liquidity? And if they just say, hey, you're getting straight through processing, that is not a guarantee you're getting A book. There's many brokers that use straight through processing as a smoke and mirrors technique, because back in the day, straight through processing meant you went straight through to the liquidity provider, which was A book. The difference is there are many B book liquidity providers these days, so brokers can still be STP, but putting you through a B book liquidity provider. So you want to ask, am I getting A book? Is the liquidity provider I'm going to A book? And can you send me a letter or a guarantee that I'm getting an A book feed? That's what you would ask your broker. You know, that's one of the things you could ask. was the feature removed that stopped a trade on a pair that had folders in Forex Factory? Tony, I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. If you're asking about a news filter, there has never been a news filter in GearBox. The reason for this is news is typically where you're going to get your entries with GearBox. So a news filter is actually very not proactive to actually getting trades with GearBox. It would actually not play in your favor. But with that being said, I do not see any more questions. We've been on this call for an hour. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. And this has been an extremely informative week, I think, for many of you, and also a very eye-opening week for many of you to, again, practice the best risk management plan so that you can see the most success with this product with the least risk. And again, my goal is to continue to advance this product to become the best money management tool that you could use. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a wonderful day, everybody.